Hey y'all. So I had this experience yesterday that hit me a little bit, and anyway. What I forget sometimes is that we're first time parents, and that we're everybody, and we're just trying to figure this out, right? Like I've got a teenager now, and I don't know how to raise a teenager, and I've got an 8-year-old who's her own unique little person, and all of our kids are very different, and so yesterday, I was in my room, back kind of turned towards the door. Now, the corner of my eye, I saw my 8-year-old just standing at the top of the stairs, and she was just crying pretty uncontrollably. And so I called her over, and she came over, and I just held her there, and I asked her what was wrong, and what she said was that she missed Tennessee and Texas, places that we used to live. That's what she said. She's also the kid who comes up sometimes, and she's the one that gets out of bed, or she's the one that complains about her toe or her stomach or whatever, and all these things keep adding up. And so yesterday when she said that her toe, that she was missing Tennessee, what she really meant is, I don't feel loved. I'm not feeling enough love. And our kids speak in code. They speak in ways that we don't sometimes understand. And so what I did yesterday is I held her, I hugged her, and I made a decision right there that I was not going to let go until she decided to move. Because sometimes what I struggle with, and maybe you do too, but what I do and where I fail as a parent is I give my kids enough love that I believe they need. I give them enough that I think each kid needs proportionately. But where I fail is that what we need to do with our kids is give them the amount of love that they need. The amount of love that they require each individually, the amount of love that every single one of them is going to want to feel loved, instead of the amount of love that I think you need to feel loved. And there's a huge difference in that. And where I failed with Quincy is that I've given her as much love as I think she needs on too many occasions, and she is calling out. And maybe your kid's calling out too. Maybe you've got a teenager who's depressed or anxious or not happy. Maybe you've got, a tween who is just struggling to get by. Maybe you've got an 8-year-old like I do who is just reaching out for more love and attention. And we have to be there. We have to meet them there, and we have to give them enough that they want. Because if we don't, and the scariest thing in the world to me as a parent is if we don't, they're going to find it somewhere else. They're going to find it in social media. They're going to find it in fake approval. They're going to find it, with their friends or other people. That is great, but it needs to come from me. It needs to be from me and my heart directly to their heart. And the moment that I stop doing that, or that I don't do that enough, I run a risk of losing them. And so I learned that last night. I learned that a hard way. I've probably known it before and forgotten it, but I learned it the hard way, that I have to be there as much as they need me, not as much as I think they need me. And there's a huge difference in that. So I don't know, just rambling here a little bit, but just something that I felt in my heart. And the worry is that we've got too many kids out there that are finding love in other places. We've got too many teens who are finding love in social media or wherever because their parents aren't doing it. And when they do that, they're never going to find real love. And it's always going to lead to unhappiness and depression. And so today, my hope is that you take a minute and just think about how much each one of your kids needs you individually, and give that love until they are done, not until you're done. Not because you have something else to do, not because you think you have to be somewhere, not because you have to get back on your stupid phone and check Instagram again or whatever. Not because of that. Love them until they are done being loved, and see how that changes them. See how that changes you. Anyway, see y'all.